Right now, I'm in front of the golf course, and as you can see, it's not, well, is that supposed to have water there? No, that's not supposed to have water there. That's the lake over there. It's definitely full. The water has flown pretty good, and I do believe there's a little bit of a pond over here, and it seems like it's a much more than usual. But over there, this whole area was flooded. If you can remember, you can go back in my history on CastroValleyVibe.com. Today, I thought somebody was messing with me and shook my car, and it was another earthquake. I just got a text from the Twining Vine Winery, and their road is flooded over there too. There are a bunch of little lakes right now on the golf course. Not horribly bad, nothing like it was a couple years ago. But I emphasize that if you go to Castro Valley Vibe and under our news, city services, you will find everything about earthquakes, fire, water, anything to do with the area. I also have a map there that will show you where the San Leandro Creek comes all the way through here. And for Castro Valley, that is probably the biggest area outside of Coal Canyon and Crow Canyon. The road is still closed, but if you look a couple years ago when I did a report and I was in floods in the middle of the golf course, this is where it came from, and that was the lake. Right now it's staying in its lane where the water was all the way up to here for sure. Floating down logs, very dangerous. So I don't think there'll be any golfing this week. So I know people from the nudist colony and homes before that, and apparently there's a flooding there. Okay, there is the lake right there. And before, the water was going over the road right here. A few days of drying out and they'll be ready to golf. Do you have your go bag ready? I mean, we have floods and we had an earthquake and our neighbors had a major fire. You should have one ready. On Facebook, I put a link to a really good go bag that you can put everything in it. It's yellow, you put it by your door, and it's ready to go in an urgency. Now with Postcard Travelers, I have a lot of links to emergency stuff like heaters, water purifiers. Because even if you can stay in your home in an earthquake situation, the water lines could be broken and sewage can be coming in. So you have to be prepared for that as well. There are also places on the boulevard that I noticed even last year that were pretty flooded, that were pretty good today. And with that, you go to postcardtravelers.com, favorite things. As you can see, there's not a lot of water. The water's flowing, if you can see it. I'm going down Coal Canyon Road now. Going past Columbia, now it's going to get to be a windy road and a lot more sketchier, as well as the phone lines don't work great down here. You can see the river and the water and debris on the road. That is really high. Here's a part of the mud that's come down. It's getting a little sketchier. The other thing you got to worry about is animals. There's deer that run across the street. There's big puddles of water. That's not too bad. This is like branches. There's a little creek. And whenever you see this horse sign, the Twining Vine Winery is right after it. So this is also a hot spot. You can see where the mud is here and flooded into the winery grounds. Looks like it drained pretty good already. By the way, they have fantastic Cab and Merlot. This is the Troubled Child right here. As you can see, it's very muddy and it overflowed. You can see me very bright. This is why I wear my jacket, so they can see me. Mainly I have it for kayaking, for me and the partner kayaking with me, so if we fall overboard they could dig us out of the water. So I would imagine last night and this morning that was not a pretty sight. The thing about the plants and the trees down the canyon, they're very important because they actually hold up the road and the mud from falling into it. Now you would think fixing that trouble spot would just be helping one house or two or the winery. It's not. There's a lot of homes that are further down Cold Canyon Road that are affected. So when that was flooded, they would not be able to pass through. And if there's anybody in an emergency situation, emergency people can't get into the canyon or out. Like if I run myself off the road and need help. Now, if I was in a flood situation, I have this little window breaker, which I've seen on the news a couple times where they could have used it in emergency situations, but it's a little grip. I did a video on it, and there's a link to this, so I could break the window and cut my seatbelt. There was a dramatic rescue just yesterday on ABC News on Instagram, and the guy was trying to rescue a lady, and I guess it was a VW Bug, and he's trying to break the window open, got it open, and she had to crawl out the back. But without something like that, it's really difficult. So if you don't need it for yourself, it's good to have for being on the road and seeing a situation like that. Now this is where another problem is where the narrow bridge is, and somebody, I believe, came out and cleared it out. But this is also flooded, usually. Now that looks like a pretty waterfall, doesn't it? I have now reached the end, and this is where the nudist colony is. There's debris in the road here. I've passed many piles. I'm actually afraid to go over this. Not too bad, but look, the tree has fallen over. Looks like they had to cut it. Right now I'm looking for a place to turn around. Yikes! They don't trim their bushes very good down here. I literally just put myself in a couple situations where I may have to use my window breaker to get out, falling into the river. Looks like they have flood bags. Should I go? So now I'm back on the freeway. I'm going to take Redwood Road all the way up to Strobridge. I believe Strobridge may have been cut off today. I think that's what that says. The next ramp is closed. I'm coming up on Strobridge where McDonald's is at, and they've been working on the road for a long time now. It looks like it may have been battered a little bit. I understand there was some flooding around here somewhere. So you go to CastroValleyVibe.com, news, city services, you got weather, heat map, road conditions, traffic. This is what it looks like on the freeway right now. You click any one of these icons. These are posts from people we follow that are telling you about what's going on, including the weather, East Bay mud. There's the post about the emergency bag. If you get hungry watching this, you can go to Ice Creamery, storm safety tips, air quality, earthquake. Let's look at that. There it is. We just zoom in. I zoomed way in, and there's our earthquake from today. You can listen in to emergency dispatch, sheriff, CHP, and everything else you can think of.